Police today continue to search for any clues in the near-fatal shooting of 29-year-old William Carnes and the rape of his girlfriend. They're apparently the latest victims of the Night Stalker. Police are searching for a 6-foot-tall man with dark curly hair and badly stained teeth, dubbed the Night Stalker, who may have committed 13 murders and 12 grisly assaults in the San Gabriel and San Fernando Valley since February. The crimes are different, but the method is always the same.
Nobody knows where this individual may strike next.
The same man is suspected in 6 to 8 murders and 25 to 30 attacks.
There's a sort of a thin line between being paranoid about it and being aware of it.
The so-called Night Stalker who has terrorized California.
Yesterday he struck again. We're wondering when and where he will strike next.
I'm scared. I think everybody else is scared.
I am not leaving my door open for my son. I don't care if he sleeps on the street.
I don't understand why somebody can't identify him. He has to live somewhere. Somebody must know. He's a weird-looking character. Somebody has to know him.
We are all evil in some form or another. Are we not?
The city had been living in fear. For months, Los Angeles trembled as a shadow crept through its streets, an unseen predator striking without warning. On August 31st, 1985, detectives across California finally uncovered the name behind the terror. He was wanted for 13 murders across Los Angeles, a psychotic and paranoid killer who worshipped Satan and found pleasure in the union of lust and violence. When the crowd saw him cornered, someone gasped, "This one cop looks real close. He's Jesus. It's the Night Stalker. It's Richard Ramirez." Richard Ramirez was born on February 29, 1960, in El Paso, Texas. He was the youngest of 5 children to Mexican-born parents who worked hard but struggled to make ends meet. The family faced constant difficulties, from frequent moves to living in areas surrounded by industrial pollution. Several of his siblings were born with birth defects, and life at home was often filled with hardship and tension. From an early age, Richard showed signs of rebellion. Raised in a strict Catholic household, he began drifting away from those values. By the age of 9, he was already experimenting with drugs. He sniffed glue and smoked marijuana while his young mind was still developing. It was clear that he was heading down a dangerous path long before anyone realized how dark it would become. His father was known for his quick temper and violent outbursts, which made home life unbearable. Richard began spending more time away, finding comfort in the company of his older cousin Mike. Mike was a Vietnam veteran who had served as a Green Beret. He returned home deeply scarred, both mentally and emotionally. He often shared disturbing stories of his time in Vietnam, showing Richard photos of women he had raped and men he had killed. Instead of being horrified, Richard seemed fascinated. On May 4th, 1973, Richard witnessed something that changed him forever. During an argument, Mike shot his wife in the face while Richard stood just feet away. The young boy watched as her body fell and blood poured from her wound. Mike was later found not guilty by reason of insanity and sent to a mental hospital. After that, Richard became increasingly withdrawn. He grew disheveled and isolated, spending long hours alone. By 17, his dark fantasies turned into action when he broke into a hotel room with a stolen passkey and tried to assault a woman. The victim's husband caught him and beat him, but the couple chose not to press charges. It was a missed chance to stop him early. At 18, Richard Ramirez left Texas and moved to California, hoping for a fresh start. But instead of finding direction, his life took a deadly turn. On June 28, 1984, he committed his first known murder. The victim was 79-year-old Jenny Vinkow, found stabbed to death in her Los Angeles apartment. Her body was discovered with her dress pulled up and her throat nearly cut through. The brutality of the scene shocked even the most experienced detectives. After that night, Ramirez's crimes escalated quickly. What began as small burglaries soon turned into assaults, rapes, and murders. He seemed to operate without fear or conscience, driven purely by impulse. In December 1984, he was arrested for car theft. A mugshot was taken, which later became crucial in identifying him. After serving just over a month in jail, he was released in March 1985, and the killing spree began again. His attacks followed no pattern, which made him even more terrifying. Ramirez chose his victims at random. Age, race, or background did not matter. No one was safe in their own home. He broke in at night and attacked while people slept, shattering the sense of security that homes usually provided. He used whatever means he found: stabbing, shooting, beating, or strangling. To him, murder was just another act of control. One of the most shocking crimes was the murder of Vincent Cesara and his wife, Maxine. Vincent was shot first. Maxine was tied up, then shot 3 times. Ramirez mutilated her body, gouging out her eyes and placing them in a jewelry box that he took with him. Their son Peter later said, "It ruined my life. I would be a different person if this hadn't happened." By the middle of 1985, Richard Ramirez had spread his terror beyond Los Angeles. He began targeting homes farther north, reaching the San Francisco area. On August 18, 1985, he attacked Peter and Barbara Pan, aged 66 and 62. Peter was shot while asleep in his bed, and Barbara was raped, shot, and left for dead. As more murders occurred, investigators began to connect the dots. They noticed that several of the killings involved the same kind of weapon, a .22 caliber gun. Glendale Police Sergeant John Perkins contacted San Francisco homicide detective Frank Falzon after realizing the similarities.
Prime suspect in the 16 Night Stalker slayings captured today in West Los Angeles.
The SFPD held a press conference that same day.
Photograph ultimately, I believe, cleared this case this morning. So this case moved quick once the break came.
When both teams compared evidence, the connection was clear. The so-called Valley Intruder in Los Angeles and the New Bay Area killer were the same man. Detectives issued an all-points bulletin, warning police across California to look out for any matching patterns. Around this time, another clue surfaced. A homeowner had previously reported a burglary, mentioning that his wife's jewelry had her social security number engraved on it. One of those stolen pieces, a bracelet, later appeared in the town of Lompoc. A confidential informant handed it over to the police, which led investigators to interrogate people connected to the area. Then came the breakthrough. On August 24, 1985, Ramirez broke into a home in Mission Viejo. He shot the man in the head and assaulted the woman, but both victims survived. The woman was able to give police a detailed description, and Ramirez even mocked her, saying, "Tell them that you've met the Night Stalker." Later, a fingerprint found in a stolen car, abandoned nearby, matched Richard Ramirez, finally putting a name to the monster who had haunted California. On August 30th, 1985, police across California released a mugshot of Richard Ramirez taken months earlier during a car theft arrest. The image was sent to every major news outlet in the state. Television networks and newspapers broadcast his face repeatedly, warning the public about the man known as the Night Stalker.
Police are searching for a 6-foot-tall man with dark curly hair and badly stained teeth, dubbed the Night Stalker, who may have committed 13 murders and 12 grisly assaults in the San Gabriel and San Fernando Valley since February.
Investigators knew that the media could play a crucial role in solving the case. In serial crimes that crossed cities, public awareness often became the key to catching the killer. The very next day, August 31st, 1985, Ramirez boarded a Greyhound bus in Tucson, Arizona, heading back to Los Angeles. He did not yet know that his photograph was everywhere. When he stepped off the bus in East Los Angeles, people immediately recognized him. Panic spread through the neighborhood. Locals began shouting and pointing. Soon, an angry crowd chased him through the streets. He tried to steal a car to escape, but residents surrounded him and pulled him to the ground. Police arrived just in time to prevent the crowd from killing him. The arrest was later described as the biggest arrest of the decade. The same citizens who had once lived in fear were the ones who brought the terror to an end.
Ramirez ultimately was convicted of raping and murdering his victims. He left satanic symbols on his victims, and he claimed he himself was a devil worshiper. In all, he was convicted of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries.
That very day, Ramirez was charged with 13 murders and 5 attempted murders committed between June 1984 and August 1985. His victims ranged in age from 16 to 83, and most were women.
Victims range between the ages of 16 and 80, from women alone to couples with children. Some have been strangled, some shot. Most of the women have been raped.
During questioning, detectives found him arrogant and uncooperative. Instead of showing remorse, he bragged about his connection with Satan. Investigators realized they were dealing with a narcissistic psychopath who enjoyed his own infamy more than he cared about his crimes. In October 1985, Richard Ramirez appeared in court for his preliminary hearing. On the first day, he raised his hand to reveal a pentagram drawn on his palm and shouted loudly, "Hail Satan." He pleaded not guilty to every charge against him. The courtroom was filled with tension and shock, and the media quickly turned the case into a national spectacle. Reporters compared him to Charles Manson, another symbol of evil in America. Ramirez seemed to enjoy the attention. He wore dark sunglasses, dressed in black, and carried himself like a performer on stage. Many people, especially young women, began writing him letters and attending his hearings, fascinated by his dark image.
Why were you in the courtroom today?
I just wanted to see what he looked like. I think he's cute.
Because of the number of victims and the massive amount of evidence, the trial took years to begin. It finally started in July 1988 at the Los Angeles Superior Court. The trial faced another delay after one of the jurors died unexpectedly. It was not until September 20th, 1989, that the jury announced its verdict. Ramirez was found guilty on all 43 charges, which included 13 murders and 5 attempted murders.
And the autopsy found he'd been beaten and shot in the head. Joyce did identify Ramirez as the shooter. 2 other men were involved in the break-in, and they are awaiting trial. So once again, Ramirez has been found guilty.
On November 7th, 1989, he was sentenced to death and sent to San Quentin prison.
Still a crazy scene outside of Judge Tynan's courtroom here in downtown Los Angeles. The hearing, the final sentencing hearing for Richard Ramirez is now finally over, and as you said, the judge said he could find no mitigating circumstances. In other words, he could find no reason to not accept the jury's recommendation. That is, guilty on all counts and the death penalty in the gas chamber at San Quentin on all counts.
After decades on death row, Ramirez's life ended quietly. On June 7th, 2013, he died at the age of 53.
Condemned murderer Richard Ramirez has died. Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, put fear and terror into California residents in the 1980s. He died of liver failure while he was on death row.
Experts later described Ramirez as a psychopathic, satanic sexual predator, one of the world's most evil killers. The closing images of his story were not of him, but of candles lit for his victims, their names shining against the darkness he once brought.